Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series. And today's quest is Celebrimbor's Secret, which is the 5th adventure pack in the Ringmaker cycle. A quick reminder, in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest release. I'm calling this deck Third Age, Third Wheel, because Grima is going to be hanging out with a very famous married couple here, Celeborn and Galadriel. Really excited to use these heroes for the first time. Celeborn came out in the Dunlin Trap, but you really wouldn't want to use him particularly. His response is not that great without Galadriel, but with Galadriel, very, very useful. It's the cornerstone of what you would call the Sylvan archetype. A Sylvan deck usually includes Celeborn and Galadriel. So let's look at these two heroes. If you came to Lord of the Rings LCG by way of Rings of Power, you don't know who Celeborn is, unfortunately, but he is Galadriel's husband. He is a Sylvan, whereas she is Noldor. She came from Valinor, and she has remained in Middle-earth. But they rule together in Lothlorien, and just super wise and ancient elves. So he has 11 threat, 3 willpower, 2 attack, 2 defense, and 4 health. And his response says, after a Sylvan ally enters play, that ally gets +1 willpower, attack, and defense until the end of the round. So all these Sylvan allies, these cheap Sylvan allies, they would be boosted. But it's not so great because you lose out on the attack and defense because they exhaust a quest. But with Galadriel, that's not true. Let's look at her. 9 threat, 4 willpower, 0 attack, 0 defense. So way different from Rings of Power Galadriel. This is the Lord of the Rings Galadriel, where she rules, wisely in Lothlorien. But 4 health, Noldor Noble. Now she cannot quest, attack, or defend, and that's thematic. She doesn't go out. She doesn't go forth from Lothlorien anymore. I mean, maybe in her youth she wandered a little bit, but allies you control do not exhaust to commit to the quest during the round they interplay. And this is so thematic. She inspires Frodo to go do his quest. She doesn't just passively do that. Like from her seat in Lothlorien, she actually extends her will and her grace, to others. And so these allies do not exhaust when they commit. That's just so great. I love it so much. So now Celeborn boosts allies that interplay with the 1/1/1 boost, and they do not exhaust a quest. So now you can also use them in combat. So a great pairing there. She has this action, exhaust Galadriel, to choose a player. That player reduces his threat by 1 and draws 1 card. So it's similar to Beravor in that way. And we have at this point, Galadriel's Handmaiden came out in Celebrimbor's Secret. So we have a sort of a cycle of 2-cost Sylvan allies with responses that came out, 1 per sphere in the Ringmaker cycle. We've got the Tactics one, the Lore, which we've seen multiple times. She's useful outside of a Sylvan deck. Galadriel's Handmaiden is useful outside of a Sylvan deck, and then Ninth Guide. So we have all 4 of those, plus Sylvan Refugee, plus Hinemarth. So a lot of cheap Sylvan allies. We have Olorian, which is an attachment that allows us to lower the cost of Sylvan allies. And then we have a couple of Sylvan events, Island Amid Perils, which is for threat reduction, and the Tree People, which is sort of a resource accelerator, gets cards into play. Well, let's get to the quest and see how we do. Okay, so we'll look at our opening hand here, and I don't see any Sylvan allies. I usually want to see them, but I like that I have Tree People already. I already have Light of Valinor. I already have Tessaville, which is really crucial as well. And I've got some card draw here with Deep Knowledge and Olorian. I'm going to keep this opening hand and just assume that I'm going to draw into at least 1 Sylvan ally in round 1. It might not be the case, but we're going to assume that. Okay, so good opening hand. And now let's look here at the ruins of Osteen Ethil. You have finally reached the ruins of Osteen Ethil, but Belloc and his orcs have arrived before you. They appear to be searching for the hidden chamber. If you want to reach it first, you will have to move quickly and carefully. This is so reminiscent of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, obviously, Belloc is a purposeful name drop. it's like we're at Tanis looking for the Ark of the Covenant, in this case, Celebrimbor's mold, and we're just going to look somewhere they're not looking, the secret chamber, and get this ancient artifact. So really cool tip of the hat there. For setup, we add Belloc, the Orc Search, and the secret chamber to the staging area. 3 cards right here. Let's look at them one at a time. Belloc is 50 engagement, X threat. It says X is the number of cards underneath Orc's Search. Right now there aren't any, so his threat is 0. And he has this scour effect. We'll see how those work in a minute. Here is the Orc's Search. And this tells us force at the end of the refresh phase, raise each player's threat by 1 for each card underneath Orc's Search. And so we've already heard about cards being underneath Orc's Search, both when we talked about Belloc and now here. So what does that mean? It says when a location has damage equal to its printed quest points, place it face down underneath the Orc's Search. So any location in this particular quest, there are effects that can damage locations. So if I have 2 damage on Ruin Plaza, for instance, that's 2 damage, which is equal to its quest value. So it is placed face down underneath Orc's Search. And now I have to deal with the threat raise and the threat boost to Belloc. So usually, it's very, very rare that I have a location do this. I usually play through, usually win it about 9 rounds, and I don't have a location attached to the Orc Search with this deck. And then here is the Secret Chamber. It's a unique location, a threat of X. X is the number of players in the game. That's 1. And it is immune to player card effects, so no shenanigans. Travel, to do that, to travel here, we have to remove 3 progress from the current quest to travel here. If the Secret Chamber is placed underneath the Orc Search, the players lose the game. So this can be damaged like all other locations, and if it leaves play due to damage, then we lose the game. Now we attach Celebrimbor's mold to the Secret Chamber. Here it is. Let's attach it. And Celebrimbor's mold says once it's free of encounters, the first player claims it and attaches it to a hero he controls. Lastly, each player adds a different Austin Ethiel location to the staging area. So for some reason, Dragon Cards has this one in staging for us, Broken Lands. It doesn't have that Austin Ethiel type, but these 4 locations do. And the one I always choose is Collapse Tower because we're adding this to the staging. It just keeps a surging card from being in the deck. And eventually we'll have Hinnomarth, and it's just kind of nice to look and know what's coming and not see a card that surges. So we'll just let that remain in staging. It's also just 1 threat. Okay, so that's it for 1A. 1B, we have 14 progress to make and 3 time counters. And the force effect for the time counter says after the last time counter is removed from this stage, trigger each scour effect currently in play. And then we would add 3 time counters on the stage. So there's 2 scour effects right now. This one says return this location to the staging area and place 2 damage on it. And then Belloc's is probably the most difficult part of the quest, I think. Scour. Each player must search the encounter deck and discard pile for an orc enemy and add it to the staging area. It's always great when you can have a Ranger Spikes ready for that orc and you can just drop it in the Ranger Spikes. So a key text here, Belloc is immune to player card effects and cannot be engaged. Now it doesn't say that on his card because eventually that's not true, but initially he is immune to player card effects, so no bombing him with Gandalf, and he cannot be engaged, so he will just stay in staging and really be a problem for in terms of his scour effect. Players cannot advance unless Celebrimbor's mold is attached to a hero. So we have to clear Secret Chamber, and then we have to get Celebrimbor's mold and make the necessary 14 progress. Usually I let this time counter tick down to 0 twice before I move on. So I'll usually remove around 7 or 8 or even 9. But we'll see how things go. Let's get to the resource phase. Okay, there is an ally. But it's not the right one because I need to spend a resource on Olorian. Let's use Galadriel's action. Exhaust Galadriel to choose a player. That player reduces his threat by 1 and draws a card. Okay, there's Hinnomarth. That's good. And now we'll go ahead and draw cards here with Deep Knowledge. Doom 2, each player draws 2 cards. So I have an option. We're going to use Grima's action, obviously. So I can go ahead and get Steward of Gondor online, which I think I'll do. Let's use Grima's action. Lower the cost of the next card you play from your hand this round by 1. That card gains Doomed 1. So Doomed 1, and I'll spend 1 resource from Celebrimbor's pool to play Steward of Gondor. I'll attach it to Galadriel. Exhausted to get 2 resources. That allows me to play Light of Valinor. I have 1 copy in my deck. I'll attach it to a Sylvan hero, which is Celeborn, so he'll be able to quest and stay ready for blocking. We might get like a Orc Hound or something. And then I definitely want to play my first Sylvan ally. Let's play for 1 cost Hinnemarth Riversong. Now he's Sylvan, and Celeborn says after a Sylvan ally enters play, that ally gets +1 willpower, attack, and defense till the end of the round. And because of Galadriel, allies that you control do not exhaust to commit to the quest during the round they enter play. So he will quest without exhausting, which means we can then turn around and use his action. Some really good stuff there. Okay, so let's quest with him. He will not exhaust. We'll also quest with Celeborn. He will not exhaust. And I'll leave Grima ready just in case we do get an enemy like the wolf. I forget what it was called, but we don't need tons of willpower here. We're already making 3 progress. That's fine. There's no location or enemy that has 4 threats, so our threat's not going to go up. And we reveal Take Cover, so that's good. We only have 1 exhausted character. This is another good thing about a Sylvan deck, is that Take Cover is sort of not a problem because all these Sylvans do not exhaust a quest. This surges, and I could cancel it with Test of Will, but I don't want to. When revealed, either deal 1 damage to each exhausted character or remove 1 time counter from the current quest. So we'll just damage Galadriel, no big deal. That surges into City Remains. All right, so I made no progress, and that is fine. We'll use Hinnemarth's action to see what's coming. Okay, it's Take Cover. It's good to know that. All right, so during the travel phase, I have a choice. I can travel to Secret Chamber. I don't want to. I want to turtle a little bit. I think it's probably good to go ahead and get rid of the City Remains threat obviously because we'll quest for more progress next round, and there's no Scour effect right now in the discard pile, so let's travel here. During the encounter phase, can't engage Belloc, and he's immune to player cards. Cannot be engaged. So we are done with this round. We'll refresh, and at the end of the refresh phase, we remove the time counters. 1 from Grima, 1 from Ruins of Osteen Ethiel. And then at the end of the round, this boost goes away on Hinnemarth next round. All right. So I know it's coming. I want to play Tree People. I'm going to use, let's see. I'll go ahead and exhaust Galadriel, lowering my threat by 1, and drawing a card. Okay. Well, I have all 3 Olorians. Let's exhaust Steward of Gondor. And we will use Grima's. Let me think about this. Yeah, we'll use Grima's. Trying to think if I want to play Olorian or go ahead and put out Ninth Guide. I think we'll put out Ninth Guide. Let's play. Let's just see the Tree People action. Return a Sylvan ally you control to your hand to search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Sylvan ally. Put that ally into play and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. You can only play 1 copy of the Tree People each phase. So we're going to return Hinnemarth Riversong to our hand, and that allows us to search the top 5 cards for a Sylvan ally, and we can put it into play for free. And what I'm going to do here is play for free. With Steward of Gondor, I'm not really going to struggle with spirit resources. So I think I'm tempted to play Ninth Guide. However, and she has some, I don't know, we'll play Galadriel's Handmaiden. I think it's a better card all around. So let's play Galadriel's Handmaiden. That enters play. When she does, response, after Galadriel's Handmaiden enters play, choose a player. That player reduces his threat by 1. And she's boosted by Celebrimbor, and she will not exhaust a quest. And then we will just play Hinnamarth again. He's boosted again. So that's one nice thing about pulling these allies back into your hand. When they come back out, they're questing without exhausting and all that. Now we are going to use Grima's action. Doomed 1. We're going to lower the cost of a card. And what I'll do is I'll just play a free Olorian. Attached to a hero, exhaust Olorian to lower the cost of the next Sylvan ally. You play this phase by 1 to a minimum of 1. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to just put out Nithe Guide. So she is boosted. And response, after Nithe Guide enters play, choose a hero. That hero does not exhaust to quest this round. So we're going to quest. We're done with everything here. We will quest. Celebrimbor does not exhaust a quest because of the Light of Valinor, and Grima will not exhaust a quest because of Nithe Guide. And we reveal take cover, which is going to surge. When revealed, either deal 1 damage to each exhausted character or remove 1 time counter from the current quest. We'll just damage Galadriel again. Surges into another City Remains. 7 progress, so 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is going to be discarded. Now it says, force, after placing any amount of progress here, trigger the topmost scour effect in the discard pile if able. And there are no scour effects. So kind of glad to get these City Remains out of the way. Okay, let's see what's coming here with Hinnamarth. We can use his action. Next round is going to be Ancient Foundation. Okay, during the travel phase, whatever I travel to, I'll clear next round. So if I travel to Collapse Tower, then it'll leave play. I think I'm just going to do City Remains. Let's travel to City Remains again. And we can't engage anybody, refresh, removing time counters, and the boosts go away. Next round. Galadriel will exhaust to lower a threat and draw a card. Obviously Hinnamarth, I only have 1 copy of Hinnamarth. I don't always get him early. When I do, it's really nice. It's nice to know what's coming. Because now I can quest with these allies without worrying about take cover, because I know it's not coming. If I wanted to, I could lower my threat and play Galadriel's Handmaiden again, but it's not really useful. I'd rather save this maybe for Galadrim Minstrel. But let's exhaust Steward of Gondor, which Galadriel doesn't always get Steward of Gondor so early, but when she does, it's going to be so easy to pay for Gandalf from hand and all these spirit resources we need. Let's use Grima's action. Doomed 1 to lower the cost of Olorian. And so now we've played Olorian for free. We will go ahead and exhaust. Do I really want to play Sylvan Refugee at this point? I don't need to make progress. It seems to me it's not really worth it at this point, even though I'm wasting the opportunity to exhaust Olorian to lower the cost of the next Sylvan ally. Oh wait, it doesn't lower cost an enemy to 0 or an ally to 0. It cannot lower to 0. It goes to a minimum of 1. So what you can do is you can exhaust Olorian to lower the cost of Galadriel's Handmaiden to 1, and then Grima's action lowers her to 0. You have to go in that order. So you can't use it on Hinnamarth or the Sylvan Refugee. So let's just quest here. And I'll leave Hinnamarth ready, and I'll still be able to clear City Remains. And we reveal Ancient Foundation, and we make 4 progress. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This leaves play. It tells us When after placing any amount of progress here, trigger the topmost scour effect in the discard pile if able, and there are no scour effects. Okay, during the travel phase, I can travel here, but I shouldn't, because the scour effect says return this location to the staging area and place 2 damage on it. I might as well just travel here to Ancient Foundation. Now the travel effect says place 1 damage on this location to travel here, so that'll have to be done. All right, we don't need to use Hindemar's action because, in fact, I should have quested with him, so we have 1 more progress, because at the end of the round, this is going to be shuffled anyway. Okay, so refresh, removing time counters, and now we've removed the 3rd time counter from the ruins of Austin Ethel. So after the last time counter is removed from the stage, trigger each scour effect currently in play. Place 3 progress, or 3 time counters on the stage. So there are a few time counters or scour effects. Can't talk. Scour, return this location to the staging area and place 2 damage on it. That's 1. This one here says assign X damage among locations in play. X is the number of locations in play. This ability does not stack with other copies of Ancient Foundation, so I have to apply 3 damage. Let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3. We're okay to put some damage on the secret chamber. All right, and now we have 1 more scour effect, Bellox. Each player must search the encounter deck and discard pile for an orc enemy and add it to the staging area. So we will get an orc enemy. It's going to be one of the ones that there's one revealed on this one here, Orc Hunter. There's also a win revealed on Bellox Scout. But we're going to just choose Orc Hunter. It's got a higher engagement. Well, it doesn't actually, but it doesn't have scour effects. So we'll put this in staging, this orc enemy. Win reveal doesn't count because we're adding it. It says add to the staging area. So that's the we're at the end of the refresh phase. We would take away any boosts from allies that entered play, but there weren't any. And so now we move. 3 time counters are placed on the ruins of Austin Ethel. Next round. Okay, here's a Galadon Archer, but I can't play it because I don't have tactics access. Let's use Galadriel's action, lowering our threat, and drawing a card. All right, so we're stalling out a little bit here. I need maybe a Galadriel Minstrel or something like that. I can use Hinnemar to see what's coming. Okay, no big deal. It's just Ruined Plaza here. But let's go ahead and play, I think, Island Amid Perils. Action, return a Sylvan ally you control to your hand to reduce your threat by X, where X is the printed cost of the ally returned to your hand. So we'll return Galadriel's Handmaiden, and we'll lower our threat by 2. I'll exhaust Steward of Gondor. I'm going to have so many resources on Galadriel. Not always true. Now I'm going to use Grima's. Do I really need to? I don't think so. With all these spirit resources, there's no reason to do that. Let's go ahead, though, and use Olorian, reducing the cost of Galadriel's Handmaiden to 1. She enters play. When she does, we lower our threat by 1 because of her response, and she's boosted. And at this point, just to make sure I make plenty of how much, there's 4 threat in staging plus 2. I can quest for 3, 4, 5, 8. So yeah, let's play this Sylvan Refugee. And it's boosted, and we quest. These 2 allies do not exhaust a quest. Neither does Celebrimbor. Okay, we reveal Ruined Plaza. And so we needed a Sylvan Refugee to clear Ancient Foundation. Ruined Plaza says force after Ruined Plaza enters the staging area, place 1 damage here. Okay, we made 6 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That leaves play. And now I have a choice. I have some damage locations here, but this doesn't have a scour effect, so I'm going to get rid of this one here, Collapse Tower. Doesn't really matter. I guess I'll do this next. Ruined Plaza. Okay, we will refresh, Remove time counters. I didn't use Grima's action this round. I want to keep my threat lower. Removing this boost. And next round. Okay, there's Gandalf. Okay, let's exhaust Galadriel, lower our threat by 1, draw a card. So I'm going to, if I play Gandalf from hand, which I think I need to draw some cards, it just means I lose Sylvan Refugee, not too big a deal. Let's see what's coming. Okay, it's Orc Hound that's going to surge on us. I don't really want to waste Ranger Spikes on Orc Hound. So I'm going to leave. I could play Ranger Spikes, but I don't think I will. So once again, I'm going to do this thing where I play Island Amid Perils. Actually, let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play Gandalf from hand and draw 3 cards. That's good. We needed some card draw. And we will play Daron's Runes to draw 2 cards, and I always discard the 3 copies of Galadon Archer. So I won't play Daron's Runes right now to discard Olorian, for instance. Okay, now I want to play Galadrim Minstrel for sure. And again, at this point, I don't need to use Grima's action anymore. I'm doing okay with resources. So I'm going to exhaust Olorian to just spend 1 on Galadrim Minstrel. She'll be boosted from entering play. And her response says, after Galadrim Minstrel enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event card and add it to your hand. Let's look and get an event card. Probably it's good to go ahead and grab. Probably it's best to, I don't know. I already got Sneak Attack in hand. Maybe card draw. I would wish, if I had 3 rounds in a row where I had Wind Revealed effects, I might wish for a Dwarven Tomb. So let's just take Dwarven Tomb. That just gives us confidence that we can have a Test of Will in hand when needed. All right, lastly, what else would we want to do here? I can use Sylvan Refugee to chump. I'm going to optionally engage Orc Hunter, and then we're going to also have to deal with Orc Hound. So I will let Sylvan Refugee be a chump. That way I'm not wasting Sylvan Refugee. Yeah, let's quest. Galadrim Minstrel does not exhaust. Neither does Gandalf because he entered play this round. We'll leave Sylvan Refugee ready. We'll quest here, and that should be good. How much threat is that? 1. We should be good here. I'm leaving characters ready in general. Okay, we reveal Orc Hound Surge. Force after Orc Hound engages a player, that player must exhaust a character he controls. We're going to reveal Ancient Foundation. We've seen one of those already, but 4 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4. That leaves play. During the travel phase, we definitely want to go ahead and travel to Collapse Tower so that we can clear it next round, and that way it's not damaged and placed underneath the Orc Surge. Okay, during the encounter phase, we've got a bunch of ready allies and stuff, so let's optionally engage the Orc Hunter, and then Orc Hound will engage us. This says, let me think, do I want to do Orc Hunter? Let me see, I'm going to have to exhaust somebody. Gandalf can attack and destroy Orc Hunter. I have to exhaust maybe Nithe Guide, I guess. And then I've got to defend a bunch. So can I really deal with Orc Hunter right now? I can always backspace. Let me just think about the math of all this. So we have to exhaust a character, so we'll exhaust Nithe Guide. And now I could take this undefended. But it could be +1 for each. Yeah, I need to just leave Orc Hunter where he is. Okay, so I exhausted Nithe Guide. And Orc Hound's going to attack for 2. It could be boosted to 4. I'm gonna lose Sylvan Refugee anyway, so let's just chump with Sylvan Refugee and place 1 damage on the active location is the Shadow. And Sylvan Refugee leaves play, and then we have plenty of attack, and we destroy Orc Hound. Just couldn't quite get Orc Hunter. I was worried about effects that exhaust allies and such. So refresh. We remove time counters. We're 1 round away from the Scourge effect. Grima has yet to use his action for a few rounds. At the end of the round, Gandalf leaves play. Next round. Okay, let's play Deep Knowledge, Doom 2 to draw 2 cards. Okay, it feels good to have, sneak attacks and Gandalf. That's great. Galadriel lowers our threat and draws a card. Very good. Here's Tree People. So I will use Tree People. Return a Sylvan ally you control to your hand to search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Sylvan ally and put it into play for free. We'll return Galadrim Minstrel and look at the top 5 cards. And the event we will grab is probably Island Amid Perils. Okay, Steward of Gondor. Whoops, hit the caps lock button there. Steward of Gondor. We use Hindamarth to see what's coming. Okay, good. So we haven't seen a whole lot of wind reveals, but like this right here, it's just going to be canceled. We love these wind revealed treacheries. We can just cancel them and have a free round. Okay, we want to use Olorian to lower the cost of this Galadrim Minstrel. And when enters play, we look at the top 5 cards of our deck for a event. Wait, I think I messed up. Let's go back. I grabbed an event instead of playing, because I think, let's go back. Yeah, I played the Tree People, so I should have looked at the top 5 cards and put an ally into play, which would be Galadriel's Handmaiden. Whoops. You were probably screaming at the screen. And now I can play Olorian to lower the cost of this Galadrim Minstrel to just 1. And now we look at the top 5, and we're going to get, oh cool, Tree People. Let's do that again. Shuffle the deck. I love to use Tree People on Galadrim Minstrel to be, just for the extra card draw. So let's see what's coming with Hindamarth. We already had done that. Okay. We will have an orc entering play, so let's use Grima's action. Dune 1, we're going to play a 1-cost Ranger Spikes. And we'll just leave it right here, ready for whichever orc we choose to. It'll be another Orc Hunter. Do I want to play Sylvan Refugee? I love this archetype. It's fun. Steward of Gondor. I don't want to play Tree People yet because I don't really particularly want to bring Galadriel's Handmaiden back into hand. Actually, it's not so bad because I might play another Galadrim Minstrel with it. So let's do it. Let's grab her, put her back in our hand, look at the top 5. Okay, we got Knife Guide out of it. Shuffle the deck. That means that Grima will quest without exhausting. We will play 2-cost Galadriel's Handmaiden and lower our threat by 1 when she enters play. And we'll go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play and destroy Orc Hunter. Okay, we're questing for quite a lot here, more than we need. It's going to be overkill. We reveal discovered. When revealed, each trigger, either trigger each scour effect currently in play, or each player places a random card from his hand face down underneath the orc search. We'll cancel that with Test of Will. And we made 17 progress, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I got to do my math here. 13. So we're at 23 progress. We are good. That leaves play. Okay, Gandalf comes back to hand at the end of questing. During the travel phase, we have two options here, Ancient Foundation or the Secret Chamber. But at this point, I think it's time to just move on. No reason to keep dilly-dallying. We'll just travel to the Secret Chamber. We have to remove 3 progress from the current quest to do this. So we're still at 20 progress. We can't advance until we have Celebrimbor's mold, so we haven't done anything wrong here. During the encounter phase, almost maybe should have drawn cards instead of destroying that orc. Let's say we did that, actually, because we have all these allies ready. So I will have drawn cards with Gandalf when he was sneak attacked in. And now I optionally engage this orc hunter. And I'm going to defend with, this is 3 attack. I'll defend with Grima. And the shadow says defending player assigns X damage among characters he controls, where X is the number of cards underneath the orc search, 0. So 3 against 2 means Grima's damage for 1, and then we have plenty of attack, and we can destroy the orc hunter. So the card draw was better than destroying him with Gandalf. Okay, so plenty of attack value there. Refresh, we remove time counters. Now, that means we do this forced effect. So we look through the encounter deck and discard pile for an orc. I'm going to get in the discard pile and grab this one, the orc hunter. Put him back in staging. And his when revealed does not fire. And he's just out of play. He doesn't have a scour effect, so he doesn't hurt us at all. We're talking about Belloc's scour effect. Each player must search the encounter deck and discard pile for an orc enemy and add it to the staging area. That's what we just did. This scour effect says assign X damage among locations in play. X is the number of locations in play. We will put 2 damage on Secret Chamber because there's 2 locations in play. That is it for scour effects. And that will remove these boosts. And then I'm just going to kind of arrange things in a way where I remember these are not attacking allies. They have no attack value, but Knife Guy does. Okay, so 3 time counters here. So we'll definitely want to move on. We will. The second we clear Secret Chamber, we want to move on. We'll have to, because we'll claim Celebrimbor's mold and we'll have the necessary progress. Let's exhaust Galadriel to lower our threat and draw a card. Steward of Gondor. Let's use Hindamarth to see what's coming. Okay, it's Prowling Orc. I don't love that. So I'm going to deal with him because, when we advance, there is the next stage says you do all scour effects in play, and this guy's scour effect is not so great. So what I'm going to do here is use this action window after staging to get rid of him. It'll be fun. So that means I have to sneak attack Gandalf into play. But let's go ahead and play Deep Knowledge, Doom 2, draw 2 cards. We will exhaust Olorian to spend 1 resource on this Galadriel's Handmaiden, lowering our threat by 1. And then I'm not going to play Sylvan Refugees. Let's just go ahead and quest here. And that'll be, let's see, 6 plus 3 is all we need. Okay, we reveal Prowling Orc. It doesn't have a when revealed, but it's kind of a tough enemy. So we're in staging. There's an action window here. Let's sneak attack Gandalf into play and do 4 damage. And now we're going to play Stand and Fight. 1, 2. Stand and Fight says choose an ally with a printed cost of X in any player's discard pile. Put that ally into play under your control. The chosen ally can belong to any sphere of influence. So we'll grab this Galadon Archer, and she'll be boosted. And her response says, after Galadon Archer enters play, deal 1 damage to an enemy not engaged with you. So that's the damage needed to kill Prowling Orc. So we kind of wasted Gandalf's willpower in terms of questing, but we didn't need it. We didn't even need all the progress that I thought we did because we destroyed this guy. 9 progress, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3. Secret Chamber goes to the victory display. Celebrimbor's mold is now free of encounters. First player claims it and attaches it to a hero he controls. All right. So we'll attach it to Galadriel. And so now the players cannot advance unless Celebrimbor's mold is attached to a hero. It is. So we move on to the enemy's servant. You have just recovered a partial ring mold from Celebrimbor's secret forge when you are struck from behind. You look up to see Belloc holding the mold and gloating. Fools, my master will be pleased. As he turns to leave, he shouts to his servants, kill them. You must escape the orcs and recapture the mold. When revealed, trigger each scour effect currently in play. Okay, so the scour effects are this one. Assign X damage among locations in play, just 1. And the only other scour effect is Belloc's Scour. Each player must search the encounter deck and discard pile for an orc enemy and add it to the staging area. We will grab this orc hunter. Where is he? Oh, that's right, I already did that. We'll grab one out of here. One of these orc hunters. Shuffling the deck. And now Belloc makes an immediate attack against the player who controls Celebrimbor's mold. And kind of nice. We're here in questing. We're in quest resolution. Gandalf's still in play from sneak attack. We'll just block the attack with Gandalf. 5 against 4. And attacking enemy gets +1. That's going to be 6 against 4. 2 damage on Gandalf. Shadow is discarded. Then attach Celebrimbor's mold to Belloc. So he just took the mold. And now we flip over to side 2B, 3 time counters, which will never do this force effect. After the last time counter is removed from the stage, trigger each scour effect currently in play, same as last phase or stage. Unless there's at least 12 progress on the stage, Belloc is immune to player card effects and cannot be engaged. So right now there's not 12 progress, so he is immune to player card effects still and cannot be engaged. But once we make 12 progress, that immunity goes away. Players cannot win unless Celebrimbor's mold is attached to a hero. If you defeat the stage, you win the game. Okay, during the travel phase, we'll travel to Ancient Foundation. Yep. And it says travel, place 1 damage on this location to travel here. So 1 damage. During the encounter phase, we'll go ahead and get rid of Orc Hunter. We'll engage him optionally. He attacks for 3. And we will block, in this case, we'll block with Celeborn. 3 against 2. Defending player discards a non-objective attachment he controls. We'll discard Olorian. 3 against 2 is 1 damage. And now we attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and destroy him. Gandalf came back to hand at the end of questing. Okay, so we're in refresh phase. We remove time counters and boosts. Next round, hopefully, this could be the last round here. We'll see. It might be that we can't make 12 progress. It might take 2 rounds. Exhaust Galadriel, lower a threat, draw a card. And exhaust Steward of Gondor. Let's use Hinamarth's action. Okay, free round here. So that just means we need to make 16 progress and have the ability to attack and destroy Belloc, which I think we can do. I think we can win right here. Do we have another Galadon Archer in the discard pile? No, we just have Sylvan Refugee. But I think we can just win right here. Let's do this. Let's play Island Amid Perils. And we return a Sylvan ally that we control to our hand, reducing our threat by its cost. So we will lower our threat by 2. And now we will play for one of these Olorians. We'll exhaust Olorian and use Grima's action, Doomed 1, to play a free Galadhrim Minstrel. When she enters play, we look at the top 5 cards, and we get an event, and she whiffed. Ugh. We'll go ahead and play Daron's Runes to draw 2 cards and discard Galadon Archer. This is working out. We will play Stand and Fight. 2 resources to do that, and grab Galadon Archer. She's boosted. Her response puts the damage on Orc Hunter. You can't put a damage on Belloc because he's immune at this point. All right, we will go ahead and play Island Amid Perils. No, let's not. Yeah, we'll do that. And we will, I suppose, pull back Galadriel's Handmaiden, lowering a threat by 2, playing Galadriel's Handmaiden, and lowering a threat by 1. And we'll play Daron's Runes, and we'll discard Steward of Gondor. We'll play Galadhrim Minstrel. It's kind of fun doing all this crazy stuff. Looking at the top 5 cards of our deck. We'll grab an event, Stand and Fight. So I've got a Stand and Fight left, and I think I have an ally, just a Sylvan Refugee. Let's use Stand and Fight to play the Sylvan Refugee from our discard. And whenever he enters play or she enters play, they're boosted. Let's play 2 more Sylvan Refugees. And don't need to worry about Ranger Spikes. And we're going to save our sneak attack. Okay, so let's quest. And there's no reason to exhaust anybody. I mean, I guess we could quest with Galadriel's Handmaidens, because they're not doing anything for us with attack values. So we reveal. Let me just see. Was there anything in the discard pile? I mean, I could play Dwarven Tomb and grab Island Amid Perils. It's not worth it, though. I could have done it where I played another Galadriel's Handmaiden from hand, but it's fine. We won't worry about it. We reveal Desecrated Ruins. When revealed, place 3 damage on the active location. If there is no active location, Desecrated Ruins gains Surge. Let's cancel this with Test of Will. And we made 24 progress, so 20 on the current quest. That leaves play. And unless there is at least 12 progress on the stage, Belloc is immune to player card effects and cannot be engaged. Okay, during the travel phase, nowhere to go. During the encounter phase, we'll optionally engage Belloc. He's not immune anymore. And we'll sneak attack Gandalf into play. And just go ahead. Let's just have fun. We'll destroy Orc Hunter. All right, so Belloc's going to attack for 5. We'll defend with Gandalf. 5 against 4. Usually I would put 4 damage on Belloc with Gandalf. But 5 against 4. Place 1 damage on the active location. There isn't one. So now let's just attack back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 minus 4 is 12 damage on Belloc. So he goes to the victory display. And of course, Celebrimbor's mold is free of encounters. We attach it to a hero. And it says the players cannot win unless Celebrimbor's mold is attached to a hero. At the player's feet, that says they win the game. So we won in 8 rounds. Usually I win in 8 or 9. So that is the quest. Let's just look in the encounter deck and see what we didn't see. I won't look in the discard. Let's look at enemies. We saw Prowling Orc and how we deal with it. It can be a problem if it comes out the round that you're going to remove a time counter, because then the scour effect is going to fire. But you usually have a chump ready if needed. And so, but Gandalf and Galadon Archer is how we deal with Prowling Orc. Orc Skirmisher, you want to be careful early on. Try to keep your threat under 33, just in case you get Orc Skirmisher, especially if you don't have Ranger Spikes. But this is a great target for a Gandalf bomb. Prowling Wolf is bad in terms of threat, but the attack's never bad because I don't have a lot of locations and staging. Easy to deal with. And then usually these Wind Revealeds are the choice of orcs from the Belloc Scour effect. You just cancel Wind Revealeds like crazy in this deck. I didn't have to ever play a Dwarven Tomb, but they're here for that purpose. Locations, we saw how all that works. You just have to be a little bit careful of City Remains and the Scour effect that's on top of the discard pile. That can be a problem. And then Treacheries, just cancel them with Test of Will, and you'll be good. So that is the quest. We saw everything in terms of our hand, how it all works. I believe we did. So that is a Sylvan deck, and that is a fledgling Sylvan deck. This is like way before the entirety of the card pool was released, and so there will be further cards that make Sylvan more powerful and more fun to play. But at this point, we actually have a viable Sylvan deck because Galadriel gives us that along with Celeborn. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I know I did. It's a fun archetype. It's something different, and I'm so excited to see how the player card pool is growing. And moving forward, I don't claim that every deck that I build is the absolute best deck ever built against a quest, but it's going to be a winning deck, and I'm going to try to be creative and try different things instead of always doing the same things. Early on, there's a lot of redundancy because the card pool is limited, but as it gets larger, I'll try to branch out and keep things interesting. As always, thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.